Dimapur Press Club 1999 December moina de charta journalist kan eksat miligena ekta motive thagigena nohlebi to uphold the freedom of press itulaka motive ekta thagigena Dimapur Press Club to form grina aishe aru itulaka sal 2024 do silver jubilee laga sal ekta ase aji laga din Dimapur Government College laga auditorium hall de Dimapur Press Club kan silver jubilee celebrate kura mi kan dikhi paise aji laga din de mi kan phalra saile tu Dimapur de alag press and media kan nolibi Kohima Press Club kan rabi ahi gena itu even do mania ami kan dikhi paise Nagaland News Network pra Dimapur Press Club laga president Mr. Imkong Weleng gibi journey oporde nolibi challenges face kura oporde ami kan kudaudi kurushi aro tai rabi Dimapur de nolibi Nagaland in general de press media kan challenges kinaka face kura ase tai pra detail pra koigena ase Ajlaka program de Dimapur Press Club pra through the special guest Sharingan Longomer Speaker Nagaland Legislative Assembly through him CM ge ekta representation pathai gena ase itulaga representation de ekta point de saile tu tade mention kurigina ase ki government of Nagaland bra journalists aro social media influencers kan du phalba differentiate kuribo lagi onai tu likhigina ase itulaga opor debi Dimapur Press Club laga president Mr. Imkong Weleng bra Nagaland News Network detail pra koigena ase aro ami kanik par phalba saile tu Dimapur Press Club kan itya tak office ekta na thagigena run kuri ase ajilaga din de special guest Sharingan Longomer taibra assurance digina ase ki Dimapur Press Club pi ita ekta office thagigena function korigina jabo gina janai disha IB amigan TPC laga president logode kotha kura nolibe ajilaga program to kinaka luija amigan detail pra sai lobo
club to 25 years huise and I have associated with this club as a member and as a journalist for the past 15 I should say 16 years but I cannot speak for for those who came before me but as far as my experience is concerned phal time bi bishi baise tuk time bi bishi baise tuk time in the sense kitewa to ini amian ko na para laga background de ini amian publicly ko na para laga any issues can crop up hoi jay tate logode amian deal koribole olai jay na of course we have been able to ini somehow manage to idu ki ko kotha koina deal korna manan lori engage korna idu solve koro parise aro phal bi bishi ase ki the spread of the media or the news is getting wider and wider in Nagaland and I think it was the print media but now with the advent of the internet and what we call the social media networking sites through that I mean it has further propagated aro everyone is now I mean gets easy access to all kinds of opinion so that's to me is one of the most prominent advantages of the digital revolution however it will drawback ps na it gives the power to anyone to voice their opinion kumbado they are well intentioned and while sadly some have evil or I should say negative intentions so we have to as the listeners as the viewers as the public as the community I would want the people to be aware and be aware enough to make the distinction between the genuine news people and those who are fronting as journalists or news persons without actually having any professional experience or background in the news business
apni to ko bijide mo ekta yada je ki apni ake de representation ekta submit kurise to tate ekta point thagi she ki government ge itu koigina ase differentiate kuribole between the journalists and the social media influencers itloka body bi olop koidu
we have many YouTubers na YouTubers to be it's a social media of course and even your organization your organization is also we can term it as a social media or YouTube news organization but what I mean by influencers are that I mean those who front as news persons well not actually being news persons say I cannot name anyone in particular but we have to make the distinction between social media news outlets or YouTubers who gather news and those who don't that we have to distinguish and I would also like to urge the government to make that distinction especially when it comes to getting access to official government institutions or even events official programs that time chamela so we have to be really clear on this so I mean, there might want to come one day when someone who claiming to be a news person would simply bring a camera, a microphone, and then claim to be a news person and may seek access to certain sensitive installations or even government institutions. That we have to be clear.
Yeah, talking about challenges, kinga apni bhi kinga lagi ase being in this field, Nagaland especially challenges and kinga face kore ase.
Challenges to be shared there are lots. There is the monetary thing. There's not much money in the media business here in Nagaland. That we have to be really we have to be really aware, and we have to be honest with it. Well, of course, it's a livelihood, but it all at the same time for me it's a calling. I like this job, I like this profession. I mean, I wanted to make an impact, or maybe if possible create certain positive changes through my writings or through my stories. That's that. Well, the challenge is while in the line of work, while working, we get certain subtle challenges, threats from individuals, from people. That though I think it's not a unique situation to Nagaland. I mean, it's prevalent all over the world. Well, maybe I mean a unique situation in Nagaland. There's a lot of influence or from what I would call extra constitutional entities. By extra constitutional entities, I don't mean the government. I mean I mean no offense. By extra constitutional entities, I mean the Naga political groups, the Naga tribal organizations, and even village councils and even colony councils. To tahanla sector, I mean we tahan bramian ki threat kore and life ina korabi no ide. I mean we are bound. We know everyone. I mean ours is a very small community. We are connected to one or the other through family, through blood. Ini I mean that challenges to face kore. I mean that kam guru munja to guru na para ho jaye na. To itu thayu tu manna ulibi amela situation very niga ase. So I think what I would want the readers, the viewers in particular, I mean itu puchai di woman jaise that support the media na. Malab if you have any stories or even exposes to share with the media, feel free, and there will be and confidentiality will be maintained. And I would want the I mean kita the breaking stories kore na, corruption can expose kore will be itu ula bishiri to there's what I would call the after effect to na itu take up korna chawo lage to be it I say I did a breaking story today or tomorrow, that has to be picked up by say you or another organization, and itu bishiri that social organizations kan, I mean community organizations kan itu take up korole only I mean ula bishiri pauri jay. It's very sad and very unfortunate, which I believe, and I would want the public to be more proactive and cooperative in matters of matters of corruption and public welfare.
We shall now begin our program. The chairs are yet to be filled. However, just now in a conversation, our special guest just said there are not many of us, but we represent 1,000. So we will now begin our program. The journey of Nagaland's press and news media over the past 3 decades has been a remarkable evolution, ladies and gentlemen. From cottage journalism to a dynamic media industry encompassing print, broadcast, and digital platforms. We have come not just a long way, we have overcome much along the way. Emerging in the late 20th century with modest newsletters and local journals, Nagaland's media scene initially focused on community-driven reporting and cultural preservation. As literacy rates improved and political awareness grew, local newspapers from the Aw Milan to Nagaland Post to Nagaland Page, and from Eastern Mirror to the Morning Express to Hornbill TV, our space has gained prominence, and along with the numerous battles and victories. It is at this juncture we have been blessed with a momentous event where we have yet again been given rest, and also a time to introspect how our journalism decades have been and where it will be in the future. I, your chairperson of the program, Kekresenyo Kevo, greet you with wishes of prosperity, growth and success as the Dimapur Press Club celebrates the momentous 25th anniversary. To begin our program with, I would like to request the President of Dimapur Press Club, Im Kong Waling, to take over the stage for a welcome address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be welcoming you all this morning. 25 years ago, 1999, I was in school that time. I was a schoolboy. I had no idea that a body called the Govt Press Club was taking shape. As fate would have it, I stand here today as the president of that very club, welcome you all to a function celebrating the silver jubilee of that same club. What a privilege it is for me to be the welcome address at the 25th anniversary, especially welcoming two personalities. I welcome the Honorable Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. I also welcome the Team Speaker, Irmian Arthur Yome. It was a short notice, but they consented without batting an eyelid to be with us today. I thank you both once again. I, on behalf of the Dimapur Press Club, welcome our special guest of the day, the Honorable Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, Sharingayan Okamer, who I believe needs no introduction. As the Speaker for the second term, we have witnessed the dignity and fortitude with which he has conducted the proceedings of the highest decision-making body of the state over the past 4 to 5 years. A role model legislator, I should say. And a speaker who conducts the House with the poise and finesse of a music conductor. We are also deeply honored to have Irmian Arthur Yome as the theme speaker. Some of us here may not know, but our guest speaker has over 20 years of experience in the media field. She is currently the Deputy News Director, Asia Pacific for the Associated Press, overseeing the photography and storytelling division in over 50 countries. The Associated Press is the one that we know as AP, or is famously known as AP, and is regarded as one of the oldest and largest news agencies in the world today. I see familiar faces. We have the Deputy Commissioner, Mr. Tino Chongshi Chang, the District Public Relations Officer, Mr. Stephen Muli, I also see former members of the DBC. I see former President Matthew Romai, and I also see Francis Kikon, and there's Along Longkamer. He is the former General Secretary of the Dimapur Press Club. He also was the first editor of the Murung Express. There is the publisher and editor of the Jeremium, Mr. K. Tanjan Jamir. We have other guests on the way. I believe they'll reach. Warm greetings and welcome to you all. The Dimapur Press Club owes its existence to the vision and hard work of our past and present members. Sorry. I forgot to acknowledge the presence of Madam Mona Lisa, the editor and publisher of Nagaland Things. Welcome, ma'am. So, Dimapur Press Club owes its existence to the vision and hard work of our past and present members. This club took shape at a time when Nagaland was testing the waters of a newfound peace or normalcy, as we would love to call it. And I can only imagine how the people who have passed through the doors of the DBC, some of whom have passed on, may have shaped the news, views, as well as the social and political narrative in a post-ceasefire era. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all the pioneering members, to all the presidents who led this organization, and all the members, the journalists working today, who have contributed to the shaping of the landscape that we proudly call Nagaland. 25 years, that's a quarter of a century. That is a long, long time in a human's life. Today, as we gather here under the theme, Harnessing Media Vibrancy, Embracing New Frontiers, we not only look back on our past, but also look forward to what lies ahead. The Jubilee theme we have chosen resonates with the current challenges and opportunities facing our profession. As we are aware, the playground is evolving and changing rapidly, and it is up to us how we adapt and redefine the news that we seek to broadcast with objectivity. I firmly believe that we remain relevant and impactful in these rapidly changing times. We must embrace these changes while being rooted. I would like to stress on this, while being rooted in the ethical framework based on which journalists are not only expected but are obligated to work. The special guest and the theme speaker will be addressing us shortly. I believe that with their combined experience from their respective fields, we will be letting on some valuable insights today that we can take back home and ponder upon. I now give the time to the leader of the program, Akre Kyuho. Thank you and welcome you all once again.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Speaker, Northern Legislative Assembly, respected King Speaker, members of the press, respected editors, and my friends. It's my privilege to stand here to speak on the history of our press club. I'll speak briefly. Going back to the year 1999, we were four of us who decided to form the club. It was originally established in December 1999 as the Press Club of Dimapur, formed by a group of local journalists who recognized the need for a structured organization to address the unique concerns and challenges faced by media professionals in Dimapur. The founding group aimed to create a platform that would uphold press freedom, ethical standards, and journalistic integrity. The club was also envisioned as a space where journalists, reporters, editors, and other media personnel could gather for both professional collaboration and recreational activities, while also advocating for the rights and welfare. In its early years, from December 1999 to October 2002, the club had very few members. However, the founding members worked diligently during this interim period to establish a fully fledged press club. The interim period saw four members: late K.D. Hararu as the convener, myself as the convener, late K.D. Hararu as the president, late Eric Castro and Pilato as the secretaries, who worked together to bring in more members to make the club functional. During the interim period, these members even approached the then elected representatives of the state and advised them about the need of an office for the press club to function. However, things did not materialize. In December 1999, as the new year approached, with the much hyped cake, the members decided to work out some program. And with the association of the Business Owners Association of Dimapur, a New Year program was organized at the Clock Tower Dimapur, which was attended by thousands of people. By October 2002, as the number of media professionals in Dimapur grew, the club responded by inducting new members and forming its first elected executive council. It was also at this time that the organization officially changed its name to Dimapur Press Club, and the first elected office bearers took charge with Francis Picon, who is present here as the president, and Bhadra Gogoi as the general secretary, who is also present today. Since its inception, the club has actively participated in various programs and initiatives focused on the welfare of its members of the community. Beyond its role in media, the club members have contributed to society through participation in humanitarian and community events, especially on occasions such as Republic Day and Independence Day celebration. On this occasion, I would also like to remember those who have left us. During this last 25 years, the club has lost two of its founding members, late K.D. Heralu and late Eric Machio, who were president and secretary respectively during the interim period. The club also lost its former information and publicity secretary, Noel Manuel, former president Philip Sumi, and photojournalist Sore Mahon. To remember this recorded soul, let us observe a minute of silence. I would like to request everybody to stand up. Thank you. Please be seated. Though all the activities undertaken by Dimapur Press Club cannot be described in detail today, let me highlight a few of these activities which we have undertaken in the last 25 years. The first program, as I already mentioned, was the New Year Welcome Program, the Millennium Year 2000, in collaboration with BOD. The second most important thing was in the year 2004, where everybody remembers the Dimapur Pin Bomb Blast, where hundreds of people were killed. The members of the press club, they joined the movement started by the Nagaland in Dimapur and provided relief to the injured victims of the bomb blast. From 2006 to 2008, the Dimapur Press Club participated in several seminars and workshops in the state as well as outside the state, where members represented the club as speakers or panelists. The club also participated in football exhibition matches during Independence Day and Republic Day celebrations, and it also had an opportunity to have a friendly football match with the members of the Dimapur Press Club. From 2008 to 2011, the club participated every year in the Northeast Media Sports Festival organized by Assam Sports Journalist Association, Hajar Guwahati. The club won trophies consecutively for 3 years. In 2011, the DPC also participated in a local tournament, 5-man football tournament held in Dimapur. In 2015, the club organized JE vaccination camp twice in the year in association with Dimapur Hospitals Guwahati, where all the members received vaccine shots. In the same year, the club also organized eye checkup camp in association with Lions Club of Dimapur and Lions Eye Hospital Jorhat, which benefited many members. From 2015 till 2018, the press club organized sports meet for the members of the press fraternity. In 2019, the Dimapur Press Club, in association with Google, organized a training program for the journalists to understand and detect fake news. During the COVID-19 lockdown period, the Dimapur Press Club took the initiative to distribute food grains to the newspaper hawkers in association with District Administration Dimapur. During the same period, the members also actively took part in distribution of face masks to the general public and creating awareness in association with the Vernacular Daily Union. Today, the Dimapur Press Club serves as a central hub for networking and collaboration among journalists in the region. It fosters a supportive environment for sharing ideas, improving reporting standards, and advocating for press rights. Through workshops, seminars, and outreach activities, the club is committed to enhancing journalistic skills, promoting responsible journalism, and supporting the development of well-informed and engaged community in Dimapur and beyond. But unfortunately, the club is still functioning without a permanent office building till today. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I'd like to thank Incom Wani for inviting me to this event, and I'm really glad to see so many media colleagues. I'd like to like to acknowledge the presence of our honorable speaker. I'd like to acknowledge, especially, I'm so delighted to meet Ms. Mulang Satanki for the first time. It's a privilege for me, ma'am. I'm really, really excited to meet you. And all my colleagues here and all the other officers present here, good afternoon. And I will make this short. I had so many notes in my head, but it's more jumbled up now, more than ever now, looking at the mix of the crowd. But I really am excited. I'd like to thank the Dimapur Press Club for carrying on, the work that they do, all of the work that Mr. Dilip Sharma has just read out. It's for me, it's something really wonderful to hear of such a vibrant press club existing in my small state of Nagaland. I'm part of the Kohima Press Club, and I know that there is a WhatsApp group that is extremely dynamic. We share a lot of things. I may not participate much, but I see all of it, and it's really lovely, and I assume, and I'm supposing and hoping that Dimapur Press Club has the same kind of camaraderie that the Kohima Press Club has, and I really look forward to all of you to carry on this battle, this fight, this journey begun by our pioneers like Ms. Mona Sajanki Jahia. Hers is a name that needs no introduction, and I hope from amongst all of us here, we were just discussing right now, our speaker said, because they know me as so-and-so's wife, and then that's the identity I go by. And Ms. Mona Sajanki says, I'm lucky that way, in a sense that I don't need to say I'm this one's daughter or this one's wife, right? And I hope someday so many of us, our names alone will matter. The work we do alone will matter, and not whose daughter and whose, especially for women, not whose daughter or whose wives we are. But again, thank you for being here. There are a few things about the theme. We spoke about harnessing media vibrancy. We all know that in this country how tough it is now to be journalists. Things may be slightly different in Nagaland because we have our own little ecosystem, but outside in the country, in India, when it comes to media, freedom of the media, the index and the global index is so low now. There are some very fiercely independent media houses who are carrying on this fight for independent, for fact-based journalism, but that is growing smaller and smaller by the day because it is getting so difficult. And so hats off, and all my respect to the bravery and the courage that some of our media houses and some of our journalists have carried on. And I hope in Nagaland we will follow this side of the fact-based journalism and not be just voices for the government or for big corporates. Thankfully, that I'm not sure, because I wish I knew more about the way the media functions in Nagaland. Even though I've been here for a few years, I'm rarely here. I'm traveling a lot, and I've not had much time to communicate and spend time with my colleagues in Kohima. But looking at the newspapers in Nagaland, I see that even though we may have a lot of journalists, sometimes I feel that perhaps we waste a lot of time reporting things that don't need reporting, and perhaps we need to spend more of that time. And in this, I will address our editors, the ones who are leading the newspapers and all of the other broadcasts that we've spoken about, Hornbill TV, Northeast Live, and all of that. Perhaps give your journalists more time to do more engaging, more investigative journalism that really have more impact on our people, and will stay in the future and the journey of our people. Perhaps that would be, your role as the media, your role as journalists would be far more proven once you do that. And I would really request, I see a lot, I just skip, right? Because in the newspapers, because there's so much of what has happened, so much is happening in Nagaland, but really, I think 90% of that does not need reporting, does not need space in our newspapers. I think, there's so much more to be done. I just returned from Longwa, and I was there for a few days last week, and there's been some lovely work done by a journalist called Inti Longchar, I think, earlier this year. He had traveled to the Kimchunga side, Noklak side, I think, and Pangti and all of that. He'd done some really lovely stories, and those were so engaging for me because he spoke about people there. He spoke to people, he lived there. His stories were about, there was this ITC dam border, there was a shop there, and those were so engaging, and I really wish there were more stories like that, and that really depends on your editors and the people running the media houses. So really this request is to let your journalists do more valuable journalism rather than send them here. I see the Kohima Press Club WhatsApp group every day. There's so many press releases. Please, for publication. Tomorrow we have this, day after we have this. It is a lot for a journalist to do running around here and there. And many of them really do not need the space in our newspapers. That's what I believe in. I don't know, perhaps it's different here, and perhaps a lot of you will take, I'm sorry, I don't want to insult anyone, but I feel that there's so much reporting. So what happened when I was in Longwa last week was that it was filled with the Indian Army, and then when I met the council members, the council chairman told me that we've been having meetings every day because the Indian Army has insisted that we give them a room, a house, where those Nagas, because once with the removal of the free movement regime, Nagaland hasn't agreed to it, Nagas haven't agreed to it. None of the people living along the border, in the India-Myanmar border, has agreed to it, except for one particular state, the state of Manipur, but still, the rest, the larger portion of it has not agreed to this border fencing or for the removal of the FMR. But what is happening in Longwa, which I saw last week, is that the Indian Army has asked for a room to facilitate giving out permits to our Naga brethren who live on the other side. And Longwa, as you know, it's famous, right? And Longwa is really significant to the Naga story, because even though we know that so much of us is in Myanmar and so much of us is in India, when you go and look at the horizon, right, it's just land, it's forest, it's the sky. It doesn't impact you as standing outside the almshouse where it's clearly written Myanmar, India, right? That strikes you. And not just that, there are 200 households that are affected by this line, this imaginary line, including 6 more rooms, the church, the village playground, so all of that. So there's so many of you, you're from Nagaland, you can live there. We should have heard about this, I only heard about this because I chanced to go there last week. But we should be hearing about this in a newspaper saying, the Longwa villagers does not know how to respond to the action, to the activity that's going on just now, right? That is what we should be reporting about, because then perhaps people who are reading it, perhaps those who are making policies, perhaps those who make decisions will sit up and say, we didn't know this is happening, right? Like how do you expect the council chairman and the council to be having bilateral talks with the Indian Army, almost, right? Because it's a small village, and the central team apparently came yesterday, 15th of December, they said, is a meeting with the central team. So is it equal? It's not equal, it's so unequal. So how are we going to hear about it if all of us do not go out there and report about it? So my earnest urge and request to our journalists here and those who are assigning them is, please, let's send them out to do stories that matter, story that will make a difference to our future, story that will help depict us as who we are and not just what is being told about us. That, I'm sorry, because I went to Longwa recently, it's a digression, but I wanted to make this request to most of you because this is what I observe from our newspapers. When it comes to embracing new frontiers, we know the challenge of AI, and AI, generated artificial intelligence, is here to stay. We can't say, we're not going to go into this, that is evil, it is sinful, we cannot talk about AI. Just as the internet took over like a storm, like a tsunami, I was in college when the internet came. I remember waiting in a queue in Lajpat Nagar when I was doing my graduation for for the token that will allow me. I think it was 30 rupees for an hour. It started at 50 rupees for an hour. And we would stand because there were just few that number of computers. Who would have known that everything is on the tip of our phones now? Not just us, right? Even those who are uneducated, so surprisingly, those who have not learned to read and write still know how to scroll and search the internet. That is the power of the internet. And AI, the internet, we're never going back to the 70s and the 80s that we call the good old days, the Generation X, now it's Gen Z, millennials, and there are so many other words for each 10 years. We can't keep count of it. But AI is here to stay. I work with the Associated Press. It is one of the world's largest and the oldest. We began in 1846, so we are almost 2 centuries old now. My organization is almost 2 centuries old. It began in 1846 during the American and the Mexican War, when a group of newspapers decided that, waiting for the postal service, the mailman to come with the news, from the border was taking too much time. So 5 big newspapers got together, paid for their own reporter and their own reports, and that is how the Associated Press was born. We are based in New York. That is our headquarters. We have reporters in 93 countries, I think, 93 countries all over the world. And AP, because we are a legacy media, we are slow to change also because it's a huge organization. We are very slow to change. And it took us a long time to embrace this digital world. But starting 3 or 4 years ago, much slower than many others like the New York Times, who is the leader in digital news and this entire transformation of the news ecosystem, the new one. New York Times is a leader in it. I mean, there is no denying it. AP took long to jump into this new digital media. But after we've done that, we see the challenges that's ahead. Your news consumption, the habit of news consumption, the way people consume news is changing so rapidly. Newspapers have been closing for the past 2 decades or so. It is continuing to close. We are so fortunate to have newspapers here. I have a dear friend who started the Morning Express up in Longchari, and I remember the vision he had for this newspaper, and I see that they are working so hard to fulfill the mission they began with. And it is a matter of great pride to see newspapers like this still flourishing. It is very, very difficult for news organizations like the Morning Express, like Ma'am's Nagaland page. We have vernaculars like Tilgimium, we have Chapi. My father-in-law is a religious follower reader of Chapi. He cannot do without his Chapi newspaper in the morning. So, we do have a vibrant, media, journalistic news, we do have a vibrant media out there, and my request is really, it is a privilege for me to be here. It is a privilege for me to be calling myself a Naga and to be standing here and talking about one of the world's largest news organizations while relating with what the rest of you go through. And I hope if there's something you can learn from what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to share what I see from my organization, hoping, because that is the path everybody else is going to take, right? There is no going back. Everyone has to move forward. It's changing so dynamically. It's so fast that we don't know. We're all afraid of AI. The AP has a contract with Knight Foundation. We are the leaders in how AI will transform the news business. We are trying to set boundaries and trying to find ways that we can use AI ethically. This began 2 years ago, and we are still in the process. But the thing is, it is here to stay. So I would encourage all our journalists in our media houses to equip yourself to be aware of what AI is, what generative AI is. It can help you. It can help your job. AP is now using generative AI for translations. We have a Spanish service, so whatever interviews we have in English, AI translates them. It's never published without a journalist looking at it. but the work is made much lesser because we use AI. So there are good ways of using AI. The second big challenge we have today is the way we consume news. As I have said before, 2/3 of news is consumed via social media and via, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. These are digitally, not social media, it's consumed digitally. 2/3 of news now is consumed digitally. YouTube has about, I'm sorry, I have some. YouTube has, I didn't have time to print it out. It looks really bad reading out from a phone. Please excuse me. YouTube has 2.5 billion users. Instagram has 2 billion users. TikTok has 1.7 billion users. The numbers are mind-boggling and they are only increasing every day. I see a presence of our newspapers and our broadcast channels on social media, and I think we all need to embrace the fact that news consumption is going to grow very soon through our phones and our computers. And there is one saying in the AP that we have embraced this year. It's called, "The visual is the story." And when you're scrolling through that, if you're just scrolling through these words, you lose interest. People's attention span is like a minute, less than a minute, 30 seconds. So the sooner, which is why TikTok is so popular. Also, the majority, according to studies done, according to, the generations, right? Gen X, as we are known, millennials, and the Gen Zs, and all of that. You are looking at long-form stories. And there is this big, if you want it, I will share it with you all. There is this chart that says what kind of news they are consuming. Long form, only those who are perhaps above 60s and the 50s are consuming long form, kind of like the Caravan, which is wonderful, right? But the kind of users who are reading them is decreasing day by day because we have a huge young generation who are hopping into this, and unfortunately also, because of this, we have influencers. We have a lot of people who are also becoming journalists, which is good in a way, but that makes our job more difficult because sometimes it could be half-baked, sometimes the information would not reach fully there, it could be one-sided, which is where we come in more, right? Because we need to go out there and tell the truth, the news, fact-based news as it is before somebody else spreads this misinformation or half information. So young people are hopping into, it's not all bleak. I make it sound as though it's all so sad, but it's not. I'm going to cut it short, so I'll just tell you that younger generation, study shows that they have such an interest for journalism, that schools for journalism are burgeoning. People are going more and more into journalism, as our Naga friends will say. We don't know whether the structures will be there for them when it's time for them to go out and do the journalistic work. So it depends on you and me to carry on this work for them and to prove that fact-based news lives and is as important and is more important as, more fake news and more disinformation gets spread. So all of us in this room, I really want to appeal. I want to thank all of you for your work, and I want to appeal to all of you to please continue the good work that we do. I just want to say one more thing that with the AP, we have seen a growth in our reporting, in our reportage because of the help of philanthropic organizations. We have, like I said, the Nagaland Foundation, the Pulitzers, and all of these people granting us funds to report on very important issues like climate change, for example, democracy, religion, and so much of this is being done by grant-funded organizations, philanthropic organizations. There is this one of our reported the story earlier this year about a philanthropic organization that tried to help smaller news organizations in the US. There's this huge push to revive small news organizations. The AP has done a lot. They have collaborated during the election, during the US elections with a lot of smaller news organizations. So there was this one grant-funded project that was up and they were looking for 100 applicants, but the kind of applications they received were so good and so large in number that they had to increase it double by 200. So they had 200 grant-funded applications, which perhaps they are working on just now. I know that NPOC WWP gives grants to journalists, and I know that that has really impacted the way some of our journalists, I know that because we talk on the WhatsApp, and I have seen the work that these have produced, because even though it's not just about the money, right? It's the work that you're doing. You know that you've received a grant, right? You want to do it justice. You have been given the time by your editors to do that. You can pursue it with passion, and that kind of grant has helped tell bigger stories that we would have never heard about otherwise, right? Because nobody's going to think about, hey, well, people on the streets, oh no, like, you have bigger things to report about, oh, what is this party doing, right? But like, these are the stories that we need to know, right? And so, grant funded, I want to appeal to all of you that perhaps you look at, I don't know what kind of organizations, but it probably wouldn't take, maybe churches, churches who have the money, right? But it has to be independent. Maybe you can strike that conversation saying, hey, we need to report on that, but we need this much money, kind of a thing. I don't know how, but there are ways I believe that you can do it, because media houses in Nagaland must be struggling with funding, and it depends on so many, I don't know, I see so many video cameras out there, perhaps they are going to be streaming this, and if they do, I want to request, the people watching, Nagas here, the others, please subscribe to your newspapers, It's not much, but it goes a long way to carry on this journalistic work that only journalists, only trained journalists can do. You're not going to get it from the others who are untrained, right? You have journalists, you come back, you have the editors going through it, you have 2-3 levels where people are actually looking at, the accuracy, the facts, the standards. And so this is also my plea, really. It's difficult to thrive in today's ecosystem that we call, right? It's changing so fast, so we need help from everyone, and really churches and everybody else, because I would say churches again and again, because all of us give to the church, all of us, education, government, departments. My speaker, Sir Friend here, perhaps he will say, yes, I'm going to do it, right? Perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps there are ways, roads and bridges, perhaps give, grants to say, hey, let's do reporting on this, right? Horticulture, hey, let's see what, the possibilities are endless, and I just want to request all of you to please, let us be each other's pillar, let us make our reporting stronger, let us make the future better for the ones who are to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us this time. Just wanted to bring greetings on this occasion of this 25 years celebration of this press club, Dimapur. Chairperson of this program, Mr. President of GVO. Also, respected our special guest, Saringan Nongkomer, Honorable Speaker, Nagaland Legislative Assembly. My senior editors of various newspapers, invitees, and my dear friends. It's a privilege for me to stand before you, and at outset, I would like to bring greetings and congratulate on my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Dimapur on this milestone celebration of this Silver Jubilee. I would like to thank, first of all, for your cooperations in various activities. Without your cooperations, the activities that we are doing as a government agencies would have not reached to the grassroots level. But because of your cooperation and the coverage that you have rendered has really impacted the societies, and also whatever the things happening around us has been reached to our grassroots levels and have really enlivened the people of our states in particular, and also the people of our country in general. I would like to thank the pioneers of this press club who has organized. Some may not be here, they may not be alive, but also like congratulate the family members and also those who are alive. Without their hard work, without their endeavor, this today we would not be celebrating this silver jubilee. Taking advantage of this, I would like to request to continue to extend your cooperations to the agencies, to the, I would say, government agencies. I'm standing here, I say, like DC from the governments, and also like do the different publics and to give them wide coverage and also keep on updating the citizens that what is happening in our district and also in general in our state. Our team speaker has really spoken well. I would like to say here that it may be wrong on my part, but today, like earlier before starting, I was just jokingly telling that today I'm here to take interview to the press, not interviewing me. So I think, like I would say, the media should, all of us should play a neutral role. We have to focus in neutrality. That is one of the most important things I would like to share with you, and also like focusing on developmental activities. Here I would like to say, because why I'm saying this, earlier when we are students, there was no like YouTube or media news channels. There are only newspapers. So whenever we sometimes we don't get newspapers. Sometimes we ask our friends, what is the important news? Whether there is any important news today. So they would say like, sometimes yes, they have very important news. Sometimes they say there's no important news. So what are the important news that publics are focusing on? So they are saying, if there are no report of any death cases, if there are no report of any violence, so people think that there is no important news. So that is the concept or the conceptualization of the people. So I would like to, because we need to focus on positive aspect also, what I mean. Because see, today as a media, yeah, we all know that we have to enlighten what is happening surrounding us. But there are many things happening. Governments, as a government, there are many developmental works are also going on. There are many activities the government is also taking places in various sectors. I think sometimes, because sometimes media people comes and they say, we don't have anything to report. If you can give us something. So many things to report, which if we focus on this activity. Because see, at last DBT meeting, I was just sharing with you these things, like we have the presentation by the agri departments. So we were also shocked, like in Thailand village, one person is a mushroom cultivator, and he is earning 3,50,000 per month from the mushroom cultivations. I think this kind of activities, if we can highlight to the public domain, I think people will be encouraged, and the final product will be our people economy will also grow. So these are the things which I also wanted to share, and like this kind of important things. If we really work on it, I think it will really benefit from the media, because whatever we are doing, like you are the channel to disseminate all these informations to the general public. So it doesn't mean you are not doing what we are doing, but also just from my side giving you more encouragement so that we can focus on all these activities, and definitely the new entrepreneurs, people who are unemployed, they can also come up and will be engaged on such kind of activities, and whatever the government facilities they are extending to the unemployed youth. If we can focus on this also, I think it will help our unemployed youth, and also bring our economy, will upgrade our economy. So I won't take much time. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity, and also wish the media fraternity in all the best in your future endeavor. Thank you. Before I hand it out, I would actually want to read this out. Okay, we are so sorry this was not included in the program, the order of the program. We have certain things or demands which we want addressed by the government. So it is addressed to the Chief Minister through the esteemed office of the Honorable Speaker. So kindly bear with me. I will take a couple of minutes. I'll read this out before I hand it over to the Speaker to be forwarded to the Chief Minister. So it's a memorandum from the Dimapur Press Club. It's dated today, December 16th of December 2024. So it's a memorandum to address to the Chief Minister, Sri Nephew Lyo, through the office of the Honorable Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, Sri Sharingai Makumar. Subject: request from the Dimapur Press Club on the occasion of its Silver Jubilee. Respected Sir, on the occasion of the Silver Jubilee of the Dimapur Press Club, we would like to place before you a few urgent matters affecting the journalist community in Dimapur and Nagaland. We request your kind consideration and support on the following issues. Point 1. Permanent office building. Despite having served for 25 years, the Dimapur Press Club still does not have a permanent office. We request the allocation of a permanent office building for the Dimapur Press Club. This would greatly assist us in conducting our daily activities and meetings in a stable and dedicated space. Number 2. Pension scheme for journalists. We urge you to expedite the implementation of the pension scheme for journalists. Timely action on this matter would provide financial security to those who have devoted their careers to the profession. Enhancement of operational subsidy. We request an increase in the operational subsidy provided to accredited journalists. Currently, the monthly subsidy is rupees 4,000 for those accredited under 5 years and rupees 6,000 for those accredited above 5 years. An enhanced subsidy would help meet rising costs and better support for journalists' work. Point number 6. Increasing accreditation slots. We request you to consider raising the number of accredited journalists allowed per media house. The current limit is 6 per media house, which restricts proper representation and coverage. Distinction between, and this I want to stress on this, we would like to urge the government to make a distinction between journalists and social media influencers. We request the government to establish a clear distinction between journalists and social media influencers, ensuring that journalistic integrity and standards are upheld. We trust that you will consider this request and take steps to address them. We believe that your support will contribute to a stronger press community in Nagaland, ultimately strengthening our democracy and ensuring better access to information. Thank you. It's signed by myself, Impong Waling, the President, Dilip Sharma, co-convener of the TBC Silver Jubilee Organizing Committee, and the General Secretary, Akang Tungla.
Thank you, President. We will now have a release of the souvenir cover. For today, along with the President of DPC, to release our souvenir cover, and also the DC of Dimapur, along with our team speaker, kindly join in the release of the souvenir cover. After the release of the souvenir cover, I would like to request our special guest to take your time.
A very good afternoon to each and everyone. Thank you, Asenio, for leading the program so far. The team speaker for today, Madam Yovian Archer Tomi. Nice to have you, Madam, once again. And I'm really sorry I didn't know the professional association that you had with the same fraternity. My utmost regards and respect to the Deputy Commissioner of Dimapur and all the senior editors of all the print media house, all the journalists, reporters from all the different media houses. It's good to see a lot of old familiar faces. I can recognize all of you, and I still remember all of you. And it's good to be back here once again to be with all of you. At the outset, I want to sincerely extend my apology for wasting 35 minutes of your time. With God as my witness, so far I have not indulged in procrastination. Today is the only day that I have delayed any official meeting, and I'm really sorry for making you wait for 35 minutes. To sum it up, I won't take much time, but I really want to congratulate the Dimapur Press Club on this momentous 25 years. It's a big day to celebrate. We have a lot of seasoned reporters, editors amongst us who have contributed so much to the progress of the state, the society. In the last 25 years, where were we and where we are now? In that gap, many things have happened. And so, I'm privileged and honored, especially to the organizing committee led by Dilip for inviting me. And that gesture is truly appreciated because I made you understand that the fraternity has not forgotten me. I was once a part of the same fraternity and I remain truly yours till date. And today, on this momentous occasion of 25 years of the Dimapur Press Club, I want to encourage each and every one here today that whatever and whichever news or story that you cover, over the last 5 years I've learned something like this. There are no two sides to it. But I believe there is a third side to it. And the third side is your opinion. Where you give your opinion and how you give your opinion, it comes with a lot of significance, I must say. There are a lot of readers, there are a lot of listeners who are not aware of which side they should project their opinion. And there lies the opinion that you share. And so, over the last 25 years, Nagaland as a state and as a society, we have progressed. Yes, there are things where we could not collectively achieve, but there are many things where we could all collectively achieve together. Some of the senior editors that are here today have been very vocal about women empowerment. Today, on the 16th year of Nagaland Assembly, we have 2 women elected members in the 14th House. Isn't that amazing? We have seniors who have voiced out on issues concerning many of our people the 60th year of Nagaland Assembly, we have made tremendous achievement in all those sectors. And so, what I'm trying to share with all of you is that what our seniors and what our seniors and founding members did in the starting of this journey of 25 years is slowly, surely, and in a very steadfast way giving results. The theme which we have decided for ourselves on this 25th year is embracing new frontiers. On that, I would like to take a few moments. I agree with our team speaker for today, Madam Yuri, on the expansive and unlimited potentials that exist when it comes to press and media and journalism in this 21st century and with modern tools that are coming along. But may I remind you, before we start discussing about embracing new frontiers, I would just like to pose a question for all of us. And that simple question is, are we proud of where we are? Are you proud of what you have achieved in the last 25 years as a journalist, as a reporter, as a senior editor? Sincerely, I ask this question. Are we proud of where we are? And that, my friends, is something which we need to follow. And give a lot of deliberation and thought before we embrace new frontiers. Because to take the next step forward, we really need to be assured where we are standing. Today, I must say that Nagaland as a state has grown. We have just celebrated 60 years of the Nagaland Assembly. And today here we are celebrating 25 years of the fourth pillar of democracy, as rightly pointed out by Honorable. How we nurture this evolution of parliamentary democracy in all forms. How our fraternity can fill that gap where we find shadows among shadows in the corridors of power. Who will voice it out? Who will point it out? But before pointing it out, how it is going to be pointed out and how it is going to be relayed is what is most important. Today, I'm amongst, I must say, amidst great minds, the intelligentsia of our society, who have captivated public opinion for so many years, who have spent a lot of time, endless midnights, in preparing the editorials, a reflection of which I have earlier spoken, that we have two women elected members amongst us in this 14th August House. And many achievements which we have done today. Today, as we go through the newspapers, there are a lot of conventions and practices which we must evolve from, or rather evolve out from. For example, if there is an official program of a government department launching a new city or a certain facility being inaugurated, for the last 5 years as I've been in the chair, I could see the caption, that honorable so and so, so and so has inaugurated this facility. That's it. Can we take a moment to go beyond that facility and what that facility will do for our people and how that facility came into being? I think that would be a better perspective to our people. We have to grow out of that. We have to grow out of that conventions and general practices which we have been doing. If we are to embrace new frontiers. New frontiers comes with a lot of responsibility. For example, let me just relay a small experience which I have just had last month. As the Speaker of the Assembly, I get the opportunity to travel once in a year for our Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. This time I got an opportunity to visit Australia and New Zealand. We had a very successful conference, and I was very honored to lead the Indian delegation in one of the discussions. And there, we had discussed a lot on the use of social media and the use of mobile phones, about prevalence among minors. And so we had contemplated on coming up with legislation and how it has been impacting the young minds, the irrationality creates among the minors. And for sure, the first week of December, after the conference, Australian government had passed a legislation to that effect. And now I don't know how many of you can connect with it, but if you go home and if you see your nieces and nephews who are 7-year-old, 8-year-old, maximum 80% of them are fiddling with the mobile phones handed down by your parents or by your siblings, because you have so many things to do that you want to keep your niece, nephew, or your child distracted for a moment. It's not good. Because you are handing him something which you yourself are not 100% aware about. And that instance, you are igniting something which will not come back to form. And so these are social matters which needs concern of all of us. And I urge upon our fraternity to raise such issues among the leadership across that we have together, so that we are collectively taking up social responsibilities. I must express my gratitude once again to the Dimapur Press Club for having the confidence in me and my office to deliver this list of memorandum to the government. In fact, to our most honorable Chief Minister. I will make that submission along with my own letter to the honorable Chief Minister, and I hope that the government will take priority on the memorandums that we have submitted. In fact, as a member of our fraternity, in my discussions with the Honorable Advisor of Industries and Commerce some months ago, I had mentioned to her that the print media press, media fraternity, is the only existing science or industry, so you must inform in form of power subsidy, in form of any form of things. Because I have had the privilege of working with all of you. I've learned from all of you. I'm still learning. And so it was my duty to inform that to the Honorable Advisor, Sri Majid, as the Industries and Commerce. There is not many things that we should do anew. Yes, there are certain things which is required, which needs focus, but we must emphasize on things which are already in our hands. That way, the present India fraternity is one that has stood very bravely facing a lot of difficulties. I know I have had my own share of traveling with all my seniors, up to Kohima, up to the Labour Commissioner's office, down in a lot of meetings. And so, on this 25th year of existence of the Dimapur Press Club, I urge the Dimapur Press Club to continue to be the torchbearer of ethical journalism. To embrace new frontiers, we must acknowledge where we are at the moment. We have many things which we could not achieve. And that is for all of us to see. As a state, as a community, as a family, there are many challenges and many things which we could not achieve. But there are a few things which we did together. And I think those achievements we must cherish if we are to embrace and take on new frontiers. Because being divided, we will not be able to achieve anything. But if we are united and if we are corresponding to one another's initiative, I think that's the way to go about.
A very happy Silver Jubilee greetings to you all. I, on behalf of the Dimapur Press Club, would like to extend our deepest gratitude and heartfelt appreciation to all the dignitaries, special invitees, well-wishers, and all the members for the grand success of our 25th Silver Jubilee celebration. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to our team speaker, Miriam Arthur Yome, our special guest, Honorable Speaker, Sharidan Govt, and all those who took part in the program, making it a grand success. I personally would like to acknowledge our Jubilee convener, Sir Dilip Sharma, and President Min Kongwali for the invaluable services rendered towards our club. I would also like to extend our sincere gratitude to Dimapur Government College for allotting the hall to us, and VIPR for the sound system, Kohima Press Club for coming all the way to attend our program, and all the Digital Vidya House for your wonderful cooperation. Last but not the least, my sincere thanks and appreciation to all the members who have worked tirelessly for making our program a grand success. Long live Dimapur. Thank you all.